Okay, so good morning, everyone. Uh, Yesterday we were discussing about this question, and I think this was not clear to few of you. So I thought of repeating this. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So let me create this table first of all. So this is student table, and let me show you the data. So let us start from student. So this is the data in your student table. And here the question is to find the overall topper without using window function, CT, and all. So we have to find the topper in this. Let me copy this on Excel sheet. This is the data. Now, if I will ask you that, tell me the topper, then how you will find it? How you will find the topper from this? What should be the logic? What should be the approach? Suppose forget about SQL. Manually, if I have to ask you that find the topper, how you will find
We
it?
have to first calculate the sum of the marks of a student.
Sum of marks, right?
Then
So first of all, you will calculate the sum of that. So for that, this is the query. So this is the query. First of all, I'll find the sum of total marks scored by each and every student. So I will write select name, comma, sum of those who have joined recently. So I am repeating the questions which we have discussed yesterday by name. So first of all, I am calculating the total marks scored by each and every student. Okay, so this is the query. So this is the query, and this is the data. So we got the total marks scored by B, C, A, and D, and I have used this query. Any questions so far? And please ask questions if the concept is not clear. Any question in this? Anyone who wants me to repeat this step? Okay, this is clear. Now, from this, can you tell me who is the topper?
A.
A
A.
is the topper. How you can tell that A is the topper?
The quantity is more.
It is no. Okay. Anyone else? How you can tell that A is the topper? I know this is very silly question, but intentionally I'm asking this. How you can tell that A is the topper?
Maximum marks is greater.
Because 185 is greater or maximum out of all this marks, right? So that's why we can tell that A is the topper, correct? Now manually you can tell that okay, A is the topper. I agree. But actually what your brain has done, you have processed this data and you have told that out of this all data, 185 is the highest or the maximum. Then you told that okay, A has scored this maximum, and that's why A is the topper. Correct. So now from SQL perspective, you have to find the which one is the maximum here, right? Which one is the maximum? So after this, now I will write a query, find maximum, and suppose this is alias I'm using sum of. Guys, I am repeating, is all concepts of inner query, CT expression is very important. If you want to write complex queries in SQL, if you're not understanding, please ask. I know for you guys, this might be a little bit complex or complicated, but this is not tough, not impossible. So ask questions. It even if it is that is a silly question, ask it. Okay, otherwise you will be in loss. So I have used a alias sum of some marks for this sum of marks. Okay, and I want to find maximum of this from this query. So now try to understand this. Forget about all these queries. So from this query, I got this output. Correct. Now in this output, what is the next step? To find the maximum of the sum of marks, which one is the highest or the maximum. So that's why I'm writing now this query that I want select maximum of sum of marks. Instead of the sum of marks, I'm using an alias sum of marks. So that I have written here. You might be thinking that why you have used alias, why we cannot use this directly. So I have reason for that, and I will tell you after this. But right now, just assume it that okay, we have to use alias. But I will tell you the reason why we are using alias. Okay. So I am telling to SQL engine that I want maximum of this. Then after from, I have kept this in inner query. This inner query. So I'm telling to SQL engine that first of all execute this. Okay. After execution, from that data, it means after execution you will get this data. From this data, tell me which one is the maximum sum of marks. Okay. So this is the beauty of your inner query. So now you see it. It has given me that maximum of that sum of marks is 185. Okay.
Sir, we can also get name also, right? Selector name, comma max.
Name, if you will use, no, that will not give. I will answer that. Good question. I will answer it. But before that, is this clear? Is this part clear? How
Yes,
this
sir.
inner query is working? Everyone, is this clear, guys? I want reply from everyone because I'm repeating it
Yes, sir.
because I want you guys to understand. Even today, if you will not understand, so
Yes.
that will wastage of time. So please ask questions. So from this query, what I have done, I have got the maximum out of this. That okay, maximum is 185. And is this query is clear or not? This is the concept of inner query. Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Everyone understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jagdish understood.
Yes, Tanvir.
Sally.
Yes, Tanvir.
Okay, so this inner query concept is clear. You all understood this. Fine. Now, before proceeding, I know someone has asked question that then if I will use name here, then what will happen? Then you can ask question that why you have used alias. If you will not use alias, then what will happen? I will answer all this question. But before that, let me complete this solution. Okay, then I will answer all those questions. So now you got maximum of that marks. After that, what you have to do? We got this maximum marks is 185. Then after this, what you will do? Manually, you don't go SQL. After this, what you will do? What is the next step?
Get the name.
Get the name. Very good. Get the name. So after this, what you will do? We will pick this 185 and you will check here which one is 185. This is 185. No. This is 185. No. This is 185. Yes, this is 185. So you will pick this name. Correct. So now this value you have to take and check in this sum of marks column, and then corresponding name you will pick.
Sir, but
This
we have
logic.
many values. It will be
Uh-huh.
difficult, right?
Yeah, if you have, no, first of all, I'm telling you manually, you are doing like this only, no?
Yeah, yes,
If
sir.
suppose we don't have SQL, we don't know SQL, and you have to do in Excel only. So even if you have 100 records, you will do like this only. You will take 185, you will match with this. Okay, this is so maybe you're having some other records with 185, you will match all those records, right? Like that. So manually, you will be doing like this only, correct? So now this
Yeah.
maximum sum of marks you will take and you will match in this values. Okay. So after this, your query will be select name, comma, sum of marks on a student to by name. Okay. Same query I have, this query I have just repeated here. Okay. Now, but if I will execute this query, this one, again I will get same output, correct? I will get same output.
Yes.
But here, but here I want only that sum of marks, but here I want only that sum of marks which is equal to which value? Which is
Max
equal to
marks.
which value?
185.
185. Great. So then we apply filter condition, and I will tell to SQL engine that SQL, I don't want all the sum of marks of all the name, but I want only that record which have the sum of marks is equal to 185. Correct? Because this is the highest. This is the highest, and I want this only. This is the highest. So now let me execute this query. You got the value? Got the value, guys, right? So this is the answer. A has scored 185. So far, any question? Any question? Yes or no? Miller, is this clear?
Not clear, sir.
Yes, Tanvir, yes, thank you.
Okay. But now you can raise a concern that you have hard coded this value, right? I've hard coded no here 185, and in SQL queries you should not hard code any value. So now what to do? What to do
We
now?
have to use that subquery here so that it will be.
Very good. So now what I will do, I will copy this query and paste it here, and then having sum of marks after that I will write in, and then I will open and close bracket. So in this bracket, if I will write 185, so of course I will get the answer, and I've shown you here. But then you guys raise the concern that you have hard coded this. Okay, fine. But this value 185 I have got from which query? This query, right? This query has given this value 185, no? So I will copy this query. Oh, 1 minute. Or let me do it here. So this is the query. Now in this, what I will do, I will write in. I can write 185, and I will show you. I will get the same output. Same output, right? But again, the concern is that you cannot hard code it. So this 185 we got from which query? We got from this query, right? So now this query I will. That's all. Now execute it. Got the same output. So this question we have done using the inner query concept, sub-query concept. Hope it is clear now. Anyone who wants me to repeat, I will repeat the same. Is this clear?
Sir, why two brackets, sir? Only one bracket should be there, no, sir. Inner query, two brackets. The last one is for don't. Ah, yes, sir. Yes.
You see why two bracket is coming. Actually, this was the query, right?
Tanvir, I
Uh-huh.
have a question. Always we want to be, we have to split our query in a three part. Then only we can get it, or we can do it in, what to say, uh, we have writing a two query, we can put it, or we have to split it in a three query, then only we can put it.
See,
in this manner.
that totally depends on your question requirement. Okay,
Okay.
there is no such rule.
Hmm.
Okay, that totally depends on your question requirement. Okay, there is no such rule like that. So this is your final query. So this is your final query. Now, if there is no question, then I think someone has asked question here when I was executing this. That Tanvir, can I use name as well? Can I use name, right?
Yes, sir.
What if I will write name here? Okay, fine. So if you write name here, so you have to write group by here. Okay. But if I will execute this query, you will get some output. You will get some output, okay? But you will not get the output what we are looking for. This will give you the maximum sum of marks of each and every name with the name. You see, with the name, each and every marks is coming. Because you are telling that I want name as well. So it is displaying name as well. B165, C90, A185, D165. Okay. If you're writing only max, only max, and if you're not writing this, only max. So you are telling the SQL engine that out of all these four values, tell me the one which is maximum, which is the highest. So then you're getting the one which is highest. Okay. And if you're writing name here, then you are telling that tell me the highest of each and every student. Tell me highest student wise. So that is why it is giving you for each and every student. Is this clear? This is giving you by each and every student. Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir. Sir, but
Yeah, hello.
yes, sir, got it, sir.
Are you sure this is clear? Or else I will try to make you understand by some example.
Yes, sir. Give me some examples.
Okay, sure. Suppose before let's take one other example. Insert into student one. Before that, let me create table student one and name rank at 50 and this is marks and let me show you how it is. This is create table. Table is created and suppose this name is A marks is 50. A marks is 60. B and here marks is 40 and here we have B marks is 40. Okay. So I'm trying to insert this data and Now see, from this, try to understand that example. Let me show you data from student one. So this is the data in your student one table. A 50, 1506. Okay. Now suppose I will execute this query. What should be the output?
A60.
60.
60, because you're asking the maximum marks. So from all this marks column, it will check that which one is the maximum. Okay. 60 you got, correct? Hope this is clear. Now,
Yes.
now suppose if you write name, comma, maximum marks, and you have to write group by as well. Group by name. So now in this case, what will happen? Your SQL engine will check each and every name. So suppose here A is coming twice. So out of this two, it will check which one is maximum. So A60 is maximum. So you got A60 here. Then it will check this B40 and 50, which one is maximum. So B50 is maximum. It will give you B50. So if you're writing name here, so this will give you maximum for each and every name. Okay. Similarly, when you're writing name here, so what is happening? It is giving you the maximum for each and every name. But you cannot see difference here because you have one record for each and every student. B165, only one record is there. So suppose if you here you have two records of B. So it will check out of those two records which one is maximum, and that will give you that particular maximum record. Similarly, what I have shown you here. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Tanvir, if you are filtering some values, go to line number 29.
Yeah.
If you are filtering something in the line 27, we have to use the same values, which is what is it? Sum of underscore mark. Same query we have to write it, or something we can sum of marks. Why we cannot write maximum marks? We can write it here.
I didn't
Select
get the
name,
question.
comma max, comma marks. Why we cannot write it this here?
Select name, line number 29 you are telling. Select name, comma, sum of.
Max in line number 27. Why can't we write select name, comma max, open bracket marks from the other queries? Yeah.
So you are telling me to add
Yeah.
marks here, right?
Mark. Yeah.
This is the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure this is the question you are asking?
Yes.
Okay, good. So your question is that can I use marks? Why cannot I use marks here, right? Okay.
Sum of marks instead of sum underscore marks. Why can't we write marks?
So you are telling that Tanvir, I want to write maximum of marks here, correct? That is what you're telling, no?
Yes.
Okay. Good question. See, why you cannot use marks here? The reason is, first of all, tell me this query is outer query or inner query?
Outer query.
Outer query, very good. This will get data from which query?
Inner query.
Inner query. Your inner query is present in the line number 29.
Yes.
Correct. So this line number 27, this will get data from this inner query of line number 29. First of all, is this clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So for this outer query, the data is coming from this inner query. Okay. Now you are telling to SQL engine that find maximum of marks. Maximum of marks. So your SQL engine will search for this column marks in the inner query. Now in the inner query, do you have any column with the name marks?
No.
No. So that's why if you will execute this, this will throw error message, invalid identifier. Invalid
Okay.
identifier.
Got it. This is a mistake I'm doing it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, no problem. Hope this is clear now.
Yes.
Any other question? Any other question, guys? Okay. Now same question I will try to solve using CT expression. Yesterday I have shown you CT expression, so again do that, and I'm repeating. I know all these things are new to you. You have to practice. These all are not tough, guys. These are very simple and very interesting as well. Okay, don't think that this is tough and stop learning this. SQL is in market nowadays. If you don't know anything and if you know SQL, so that can be a game changer. That's why after my class, give at least 1 hour. Okay, at least 1 hour to learn this, to revise the concepts. Okay. So now I'm trying to solve the same question using CT expression. We have discussed yesterday what is CT. First of all, I am creating a table, test one, that is a local table or temporary table. Discussed this yesterday. Okay. Now I'm executing this query. Okay. Now who will explain me that what I am doing in this query? Will explain this.
You are creating a temporary table
Yeah.
for which you need what to say, name and sum of marks from the table student.
Correct. So actually, the output of this query I am saving in a temporary table test1, correct? And then I am getting the data from this temporary table test1. That's all I'm doing, nothing else. Okay. Now, is this table test1 is created in the database?
Yes.
No.
No, it is a temporary data.
Temp-
It is temporary. This is created on runtime only. After that, this will be deleted. If you want to check, write this query now. It will start from test1. Table of it does not exist because that was not saved in the database. Just on the runtime, it was created and then it was destroyed or deleted. Is that clear? So that's why even if you run this alone, this will not give you output. So always you have to run this along with this only. Then you will get the output. Is this clear concept? Okay. After that, I am creating one more temporary table test2. I'm giving alias here like so. And here I'm trying to find the maximum. Same approach I'm using, guys, which I've used earlier. I'm calculating maximum sum of marks from test1. So from this query, what I'm trying to do is I'm asking, see if you remember this concept here. I was calculating the maximum marks, right? From this query, I've used this one. Same thing I'm using here, that I want maximum sum of marks, which we have received from this test1 table. Test1 table, right? Right here. Select start from test2 because now the output of this will be stored in this test2 table. So now you see the beauty of this CT expression. Here, if you compare this with this query, where is that? In this query, here what I have done. Here, to get the maximum marks, I have again used this inner query in this, right? Now here what I'm telling that I want maximum marks from this table, test1, because I know that the output of this query has been stored or saved in this test1. So directly I'm using this table test1. Otherwise, I have to use this, I have to write in this entire query. Like here what I have done, I've written the entire query. But here I'm just playing with the data. So now let's start from test2. You have maximum marks 185. So this is CT expression. This is very helpful. You can store the output of one query in a table, and then that table you can use. You can see this one here, how I have used this test one directly. I have not used this query. I have directly written this table name test one. And then I got the maximum marks 185 from this entire query. Is this
Instead
clear?
of writing a multiple line, we can reduce it. We can
Correct. You can reduce that. Okay. You can reduce that. Else you have to write the same query again and again. Right here, I've written the same query again and again. Okay. After this, what you have to do? So far, any question till here?
no, Tanvir.
No question. No. I know this is confusing, so please keep on asking questions if you have any. Now, after this, what I will write? What should I write here? Which one shall I tell you? Which one shall I tell you? Which one shall I tell you? Okay. I will tell you 2 to 3 methods after this, okay? But I'm afraid that you should not get confused, okay? So I'm taking risk. I will tell you 2 to 3 methods. If you're getting confused, tell me that. Yes, Tanvir, I'm getting confused. Please repeat. I will repeat that, okay? Okay, no, leave this one. Leave this. After this, what should be the next step? I got the maximum marks is 185. After this, what is the next step?
You have to
We have to extract the name.
I
Name.
have to find the name, right? Okay. Now the same logic I'm using, which I have taught you earlier. In this query, if I will execute, I'm getting all the student name, but which one I want?
Yeah.
Which has maximum marks.
Which has maximum amount. It means I want having sum of marks is equal to or in whatever you want, you can use that 185. If I'm writing this query, is this correct or not?
It is hard coded.
Sorry.
In this scenario, it's fine, but we do not need to hard code the value.
Correct. Very good. In this scenario, this is correct. You have kept it 185 because we know that 185 is a maximum here, but you should not hard code that. Very good explanation. So if I will run this, you will get the output. Now the question is, don't hard code. Okay. I will not hard code. If I will not hard code, then tell me which query will give me this 185 value from this
About
CT,
test 1 and test 2.
from test 1 and test 2. Yeah. So finally, this maximum value where you have stored.
Test 2.
Very good. Great. Very good.
Sir,
You got
but
this
test
180.
2, but test 2 is a temporary data, right? How
I
can
will
we
tell you
do
that.
that?
I will tell you that. But 185 is in test 2. You all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
See, selected star from test 2 have executed. This is giving 185, right? So now in place of this 185, suppose if I will write select a star from test 2. So will this work or not? Yes or no?
You need to run the entire query.
I will run the entire query only. I will run this entire query. Remove this. I'm running the entire query.
It will work.
It will work. Sir.
Perfect. Great. Got the answer? Got the answer, guys?
Yes, Tanvir.
Now, this is the inner query I have used earlier when I was teaching you with the help of inner query. This is the one I have used. Here, query, concept. This is the one. Okay. And this is using CT expression. We have used this. Which one looks simple? This one or this one? This inner query. This is using CT expression. I know that
CT one
depends
looks
from individual to individual. Yeah.
City.
See, CT, what we have done, we have segregated each and every data in separate tables, right? And then directly we are using tables. Now here, if you see, if I want that maximum marks, so again, I have to write the entire query again, right? That is the problem in inner query, and that's why it looks a little bit complicated to understand. But CT easily you can understand. This query output I have saved in one table. Now in second table I want maximum, so I'm directly telling that go to the table test one, and from there tell me what is the maximum value. I have not written this entire query again, correct? I've just written the table name. I'm telling the SQL engine that go to the table test one, and from that tell me the maximum marks. Now here, asked query line number 84. Here again, what I'm trying to tell, I want that student name whose sum of marks is get the value from the table test 2. So you can see how I am using the tables only. I'm playing with the tables, not with the queries. But in an inner query, you have to play with query. For each and everything, you have to write the same query again and again. So this is the beauty of CT expression. And that's why those who are a little bit or well matured in a SQL world, you will see that they will write queries using CT expression. But apart from that, is this both the concepts clear or not?
Yes, sir.
You want me to repeat this?
Tanvir, as per my understanding, inner query will work first and then the main query will work, right?
Of course, 100% correct understanding.
Okay. And then there is no dependency between inner query and then main query.
It is only for independent query. But if you are, I have not taught you correlated query when I will teach you correlated query. So there this doesn't works. There they both have dependency on each other.
Okay.
Okay. So I cannot tell that inner query doesn't have dependency on outer query. But
Sir?
yes, in independent query, there is no dependency. But when I will teach you correlated query, there is dependency.
Sir,
Yeah.
like when we write some 8 lines, 9 lines, this query, sir, like assume that something is wrong inside. How to debug it, sir? Like only we have to see that red message and understand based on that, or any technical
You see,
way?
debugging in any language, Python, SQL, any language, yeah, this all comes with experience actually. Okay. But if your question is that, can you tell some tips or tricks how to find that? So there are two kinds of errors in SQL queries. The one is syntax error. Okay, that syntax you have to check where you have done a mistake. And from error message, no, you will catch it. Slowly, once you will start working with the error message, you can catch it. Okay. Now, if there is some logic,
like some inbuilt live SQL, they have some button where we click that it will trace something like that.
trace function is there. But again, for that, you should be experienced.
Okay.
There is no such rule that quickly you can tell that where the issue is. Yeah, but
I
that
thought
comes
there
with
is something,
experience.
sir, where we get button, it shows, okay, you are in wrong with that, like that. No. Okay.
Okay, so this is solution one using CT expression. This is the one.
Just wanted one clarification, Tanvi, that in the inner query concept, we actually do have the dependency, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
No,
you were actually saying that in the inner query we do not have the dependency. In
Okay. Let me explain that again. Let me explain that again. Take this example. Take this example, okay, which we were discussing. Here, line number 52 is the inner query. You all agree?
yes.
Correct. And line number 50 is the outer query. Correct. This is clear. In this case, your inner query will be executed first. Okay. This will be executed first. You can see it is executed. And then based on the data of inner query, your outer query will execute. First of all, is this clear or not? Is this clear?
Yeah.
That's the new.
Okay. So here you can see your inner query, line number 52. Is 1 minute, guys. Hold on 1 minute. Someone is knocking at the door. Yeah, I'm audible now.
Just a minute.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so here your line number 52. This is inner query, and tell me, is this dependent on line number 50? Yeah, outer query.
Yes.
No, this is not dependent. You see, inner query, it is, you see, I will execute this and you will get output, right? This is nowhere dependent on outer query. Is this clear?
No, but the column name, I mean, in terms of column name, it is dependent. So if we are not writing the correct column name, so we won't be able to get the result in line
No,
number.
no, just tell me line number 52. Okay, line number 52. If I'm executing this, is this by any way related to, means dependent on line number 50?
No,
I'm
it is
executing
working
this.
independently.
It is working independently, right?
Yeah.
So that's why in this case, your inner query, line number 52, it is not dependent on outer query. And that is why this kind of query is known as independent query. Okay. But I'm not telling that this is a rule that always inner query is independent of outer query. No, this is not a rule. Why? Because I will show you down the line some other queries where you will see that inner query is dependent on outer query. When I will teach you correlated query, no, then I will show you those queries. So that's why I'm telling, don't make this rule that always inner query is independent of outer query. No, it is not like a rule. We have certain scenarios where inner query is independent of outer query, like this example, and this is known as independent query. But we have certain scenarios where inner query is dependent on outer query, and that is known as correlated query. So there is no any strict thumb rule. That is what I told. Okay, is that clear?
Just a minute.
Okay, so we would be discussing the dependency afterward. After some.
Yeah. When I will teach you correlated query, no, then I will tell you that how the inner query is dependent on outer query. Then I will show you there that if you will execute this inner query independently, that will not give you result. That will throw error message. But here you can see that you are getting result. No? So in those queries, if you will execute the inner query, that will throw error message because that have some dependency on the outer query. So that we will discuss in correlated query concept. I'm not sure have I answered your question or not. Is that is that's so that's what I mentioned, that there is no such thumb rule that if an interview, if someone is asking you that okay, inner query is always independent of outer query. So no, this is false statement. Not always. Sometime it is dependent, sometime it is not dependent. If it is independent of outer query, that is known as independent query. If it is dependent on outer query, that is known as correlated query. Okay. Is that clear?
Just a minute.
Okay. Not sure if it is clear or not. So let me quickly show you. I will not explain in detail, but quickly I will. Suppose this is a query. I will not explain this query. Okay, just I will try to show you. So this is again one query. Okay. Now in this query, if you'll see, don't try to understand what this query is doing and all these things. Okay. In this query, this is the inner query. Correct? You all agree? This is the inner query. Okay.
Yes.
And let me write it like so. Line number 56 is your inner query, and line number 55 is your outer query. Okay. So here, what will happen? Your inner query line number 56. So it is referring to some columns of the outer query. Like in outer query, you have column e.employee ID, right? So it is referring that e.employee ID here. Some logic is there. Don't think what the logic is. It is referring there. So if you will execute this query, so this will if you will execute only this query, no, so this will throw error message. Why? Because this is referring to the outer query, and the outer here the table
It
is
is
not
referring
present.
e.employee ID, so it could not be able to identify.
Ah, very good. It is referring this e.employee ID, and this is present in the outer query. So if you will execute this inner query only, this will throw error message. So this is known as correlated query. I will teach you when I will come to that concept of correlated query. Okay. Any other question? Any other question, guys?
Uh, so Tanvir, outer query is always dependent on inner query, but vice versa is dependent, right? That's what you're right.
Correct. Outer query is always dependent on inner query. This is correct.
Okay, but
This
vice
statement is
versa
correct.
is not dependent.
Inner query can depend on outer query, or it cannot depend on outer query. That depends on scenario.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Also, from performance point of view, which one is better? Tanvir? Is
From
CT or subquery?
CT,
Because in
CT, I have mentioned this yesterday as well. So if you can do the same question using CT and inner query, so prefer CT. CT is better from performance perspective. Inner query is very costly. It impacts the performance very badly. Okay, so if in your project, if someone is using inner query for lot of codes are there, 100 lines of codes is there, and if you're using inner query, try to avoid this if it is possible. I cannot tell that always this inner query can be replaced with CT. No, inner query they have their own benefit. What CT cannot do. CT fails when you're working with window functions as a filter condition. When I will teach you all those things, I will tell you. So I'm not telling that CT can replace totally inner query. No, inner query it has its own benefit. Like cold drink, it means some people like cold drink, some people like lassi, like that. Correct. So CT, it's not like CT can replace inner query always. No, inner query they have their own benefit. I will show you down the line when I will teach you joins. But if the question is that Tanvir, like for this example, you have shown the solution using CT and inner query both. Which one should I prefer? Please prefer CT in that case. Okay, have I answered the question?
yeah, yes, Tanvir.
So in terms of reusability, which one would be better if we just want to focus on that?
CT, of course, CT. That's what I've shown you here. That just save the output of a query in a table, and you see, I'm playing with table after that. Here I've used this test one table. I've not used this entire query. But in inner query, you have to use that in the entire query again. You have to write. Then see here, I have not used this query again. I've just written this table name. So in CT, you are playing with tables only. You don't have to write that query again and again. Like if you worked on that Python or PL SQL, no, you're creating functions or procedures, right? Why? Because you are calling that particular function then, correct? You're not writing the entire code. Even if you have worked on Java, same thing you're doing. So it's same, almost same. So, is that clear?
Got it.
Okay. Now same question I'm trying to solve using some other method as well. CT solution 1, this is CT solution 2. And please guys ask questions. I'll be more than happy if you understand all these concepts. Okay, so please keep asking questions. Same question I'm trying to solve using some other method. Okay, but before that, I want to ask few questions, and the purpose is I just want to understand how much you have understood this CT concept. I've written here select a start from test one, and if I will execute this entire query, what will be the output?
First, this test one table is created, sir. Then then the test two as select you'll begin select start from so start
Just
from
just
test
tell,
one.
just tell me one
We'll
thing.
get the
If the,
test one result, sir. We'll get the
you will
test
get
one.
the test one result, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone from last batch, okay, and previous batch, someone has asked the question that Tanvir, I think it should override. Override means what he was thinking is he was thinking that test one table you have created. After that, SQL engine has created test two table. So in this case, test one table is deleted. So now if you will execute select a star from test one, you will not get any output. He was thinking in that way. Okay. So see, you are getting output. So don't think that after test one, if you have created test two, you cannot fetch test one data. You can fetch. You can fetch any table data. Okay. It is not like now you have created test two, so you can get only test two data. No, you can get test one data as well. I have shown you here. Is that clear? Is this concept clear?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Now I have shown you that I executed select the start from test one and I got this output. Okay. Now in this output, which value you want? Where sum of marks is 185, correct? So can I write where sum of marks is equal to 185? You will get the required output. Got the output? Is this correct? Is this clear, guys?
Yes.
So what happened? Are you guys confused?
No, from
Tell
the
me,
T1 we are filtering the values. It is
yeah,
suffering where
from
condition.
test
So
one, I want that which sum
there
of
is no
marks is
confusion.
185.
There is
Okay.
no confusion.
No confusion. So now you can ask the question that why you have hard coded 185. Okay, I will not hard code. Sorry. So I will use this value. Select to start from test two because 185 is coming from test two only, no? So I'm telling that select start from test two and use this value. Same output. Now tell me which one is better, solution one or solution two?
Solution 2 is better.
Solution two is better. So that's why when you will start working now in solution two and solution one, what is the difference? You see,
If we are not repeating the same codes here.
very good, perfect. We are not using the same query. You see, here I have written the entire query again, correct? But here, what I have done, I am playing with the table. I know that this query is already we have saved in this test one. So directly I'm using test one and I'm playing with that data of test two. So that's the beauty of CT expression. Just write query once, save that in a table and use that table again and again. Hope this is clear. Confused? Any questions? You have to revise this. So after class, if you revise this one, this will become more clear. Okay. So I've tried my best to explain you using inner query and CT both. Okay. And I think this was assignment, and this is the question number 5. Similarly, please work on all other questions and don't do formality. Means enjoy the question. Suppose if you're working on question number 4, try to solve this using inner query and try to solve this using CT expression and some other ways. Okay, so We'll get better understanding of this SQL concepts. If you don't have any other question,
So
Hmm.
just a vague question. So how many CT tables can we make in one query?
No limitation. N number of tables you can make. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Whatever you want, you can make. No issues. Here I've created only 2 tables, test 1 and test 2. But if you can create a number of tables, fine. Is that the question you're asking, right?
Yeah. Got it.
There is one twist here. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. There is one twist. Here you can see that in test2 table, I am using test1 data, correct? Test2 table, I am using test1 data. But in this test1 table, you cannot use test2 data because this is created first. Okay, and then after this test2 will be created. So you should not use test2 data in test1 table. That will throw error message. Okay, always you have to work in successive manner. Now, if you're creating test3 table, in test3 table, you can use test2 data or test1 data, whatever you want. Okay, so for all this we have covered so far. So quickly, we have 2 minutes, okay, and want one thing, like you guys can give me quick feedback, either negative, especially either with the speed, or the content, or the presentation. These 3 points. Anyone who wants to give some negative feedback on that? Speed, how is that? Am I very slow? Pace.
No, sir,
Come on,
it's good,
guys.
sir. It's good,
Tanvir,
sir.
my small suggestion.
Mhm.
Instead of you teaching, you have once you teach, if the students are understood, then you can take one sample for at least one class. For CTE or very bigger concept, you take one query, one question that should be answered by fully answered by the student, not by you. Just take one session that will provide a clear information to everyone. So
See,
that you should not answer it, but student should answer it. Somehow, it might take 1 hour or 1.5 hours, but student should answer it. That is the
yeah.
if you work on it, but people will think so that they can answer it. Instead, if you are
See,
providing a solution, it will not provide a what to say clear cut understanding or. So if you particularly work on particular questions, then the student might be answered. So that's a
yeah.
small suggestion.
Yeah. So actually, no, we have done this for earlier batches. We have done this. We have taken separate session where the student they have to practice. But what happened? Everyone is occupied, so the participation was very less. And in certain batches, I have repeated. I have compelled the students that please work, and all those things. So they started feeling irritated. Okay, so I cannot compel anyone. Okay, so because of that, we have created that group SQL practice. So there, I used to post question, and the students they are working on that. Okay, so that you that individual they have to work. Yeah, if you're getting a stuck, connect with me after class. I will help. Okay, so pace. Apart from good, anyone who thinks that I'm very slow, feel free. Okay, feel free and honest. If you think that I'm very slow, please tell me. I will try to increase the speed. Any other session from pace wise? Is that fine?
Yes, sound good.
That's good. Content. Content means the examples which I'm showing during the assignments which I'm giving. Is that simple or complex?
It's simple only here.
Okay, so that's fine. You want some modification?
See, whatever the
See,
assignment which you are giving, if you work on it, then it will be good for us. So whatever the questions you are giving is good.
okay. Presentation.
It is extraordinary.
Okay. Any negative feedback in presentation? That maybe like it should be more interactive. You should show some more examples, or you should tell in more detail or more in depth. Any feedback, guys? No?
No, it's clear, Tanvir.
Okay, so I will proceed with the assumption that all good and you all are convinced with the presentation or the content or the pace at which I'm moving ahead. So I will continue this. But still, if you need some modification, you can message me, you can connect with me. Okay. So that's all for today, guys. Just quickly, I will show you the agenda. Where is that? Where is that? So this is the agenda. So far, we have covered all these keywords. But of course, few of this will be repeated, like CT expression. You will see some more examples. Okay. Inner query, you will see some more examples, and all those things will come again and again. Then tomorrow I will start with these concepts, update, and all those things. Okay. Fine then. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, then.
Thank you.
Thank you.